All right, cool. Welcome, guys. We are working for external client Matthew Berman, and our task was we're going to create an LLM video for him. So, um, let's see it. Let's see our goal here. So our goal was to create an impactful video about large language models, and our target audience here is for people that are either looking to get into LLMs, for people that don't know much about it, or trying to make a career switch. This is our target audience, and so we want to make a video that's understandable and easy to follow in a simplified fashion for people with less experience in this field. And again, my name is Vamsi. I'm the team lead. Currently studying computer science at OSU. I was a software engineer at JP Morgan this summer. But I've had a really good time working with this team for the last, 11 weeks. We started early. And it's been an amazing experience. So I'll let the rest of the team introduce themselves and where they're from, and we'll kick it off.
All right. Hi, I'm Tristan, and I'm a senior from Virginia.
My name is Dominic, and I'm a senior from Montana.
My name is Joseph, and I'm a junior from Maryland. And Edwin, who's after me, is actually on the airplane right now, so he couldn't be here today.
Actually, yeah, he's a junior from Los Angeles. I'm Adam Jung. I'm a freshman from California. All right, so I was part of the script team, and this is our script making process. So for the script, we really wanted to become experts on large language models because in order to teach an audience something, you have to know a lot about it. You have to be an expert. And we did a ton of research compiling everything we could find into this giant document. And it was like an LLM Bible. And then we had to figure out how to trim that down to only the stuff that would matter most for the video, which is, not exactly an easy task when you're dealing with such complex concepts. We were also collaborating with the visual teams too, tweaking the script so it would match up smoothly with the animations. And after going back and forth, getting feedback, making edits, I'd say we ended up with a tight 10-page script that covers everything someone would need to know. And it still has that engaging conversational vibe, and it's not just facts and definitions. So I'm pretty proud of how it turned out, and I think we nailed that simplified yet impactful explainer style. So this is the sections covered in our script. We went through all these topics in detail, and yeah. And on the next slide, these are some examples of what the script looked like. For each topic, there's a lot of bullet points that would essentially be what Matthew would be talking about. And we did bullet points instead of a word-for-word script because Matthew has a very distinct personality that's like really friendly, and we want that to shine through. So we gave him some bullet points so that he can, revise it and make it tune up to his personality. And I'll pass it on to the next person.
Yeah, so we made visualizations based on an extensive research document we created beforehand. And then we cut down the work by identifying relevant animations for the video. We divided the work among team members and like to think outside the box to animate these complex concepts within our limitations. And then we were in constant communication with the script team to streamline both the script and animations together.
So in order to design these animations, we used three distinct tools. Motion Canvas, we used to make the animations and provided the library we needed to design our animations. TypeScript was the language we used to interact with this library, and Vite helped us render our web UI so we could put it all in one nice bundle. This project helped test our technical and research skills since we had to take these concept LLM concepts like multi-headed attention, perplexity metrics, and vector databases down to simple blocks of animations that anybody could understand.
So some big challenges. Obviously, number one is simplifying the complexity of large language models, in this case, specifically the transformer algorithm. For anyone who's actually bothered to read the paper, like me, it's very complicated and it's not fun to look at. The second challenge was because we actually created all the visuals by code in a language called TypeScript, some of us actually had to learn how to code in that language, which was another huge challenge. You have a huge learning curve before you can even start animating. And the last thing is creating a video that was short enough to keep all the viewers engaged, but long enough to include all the necessary information. So basically quality over quantity. Right. So in conclusion, we learned a lot about LLMs and specifically the transformer through extensive research. We had lots of challenges, but we persevered and eventually we simplified lots of complex machine learning concepts. For example, multi-head attention. And we gained new skills in coding, for example, in TypeScript or, in new packages such as Motion Canvas. And lastly, we needed to work together as a team, not just within us, but we also had to work with our client as well to match his styles and everything. So that was another huge challenge, but we also persevered through that. And so overall, this was a really rewarding experience, creating an impactful video on LLMs.
All right, cool. We can move on to talking a little bit more about the actual visuals. So you'll get to see what we've been creating. So Tristan, this is all you.
All right. So we've written over 3,000 words in our script, as you mentioned, around 10 pages, and around 3.7 thousand significant lines of code. We use a bit of AI assistance with GitHub Copilot to help generate some boilerplate, and we have 2 examples of code here. On all the way to the right, that's a whole scene. So it's all the code that's needed to create one of the many scenes we're about to show. And on the left is a smaller portion that we use in vector databases. But now that we're going to show the video, the floor is also open to questions. Ooh, can't really. There we go. So yeah, if anybody has any questions, and feel free to ask any, but
We haven't incorporated any sound yet.
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
so there
yeah,
is
we
not
have
supposed to
no
be
sound,
any
yeah.
audio. Because we're waiting for Matthew to integrate his own voice into this, which actually reminds me of another thing. We also actually maybe Tristan, you could explain how you like segmented each thing so Matthew could automatically.
Oh yes, yes. So
yeah.
if you notice, even in this like sped up video, there's not really like breaks between each animation, but in the UI earlier that we mentioned invite, there's a little drag feature that allows you to take any of the spaces we have in between animations and spread it out. So if he wants to elaborate a bit more on maybe this vector 2D scene, then he could take one of the animations and pause it and go as much as he needs to go out and explain it.
And I guess I'll come in here and say, like, I've been at AI Camp for like over a year now. And one of the biggest things that we talk about here when we're making a product is data. And we're going to be able to see some real hand. I know, Alex, you're looking over here. You know all about data, man. That's all you. But soon here, once our client, uses what we made into a video, we'll be able to see the real world data analytics, and we'll be able to, it'll be super interesting for us to look at. So, yeah.
And I guess if no one has questions, please feel free to look at this and provide feedback on, what the animations, how well they explain this concept, perhaps. That would be appreciated.
Also, keep in mind, there's also Matthew Berman's going to be reading the script on top of it. So when it goes into YouTube, the audience can have a easier time understanding like what's going on.
And all of these scenes are split up into their own individual blocks. So if he wants to go into the middle and cut a bit or promote AI camp, for example, then he could do just that.
And just for context, our client, Matthew Berman, roughly like 90K subs on YouTube, talks about all about tech, super smart person. And like, before we finish off here, I want to give a big shout out to him. Big thanks, because he's been super collaborative with us. He's also taught us a lot of new things. So big shout out to him, but also big shout out to the AI Camp. Blake, thanks for running an amazing program, but thank you to the entire community for helping us along. So yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Great job, guys. Great job. Round of applause. I would say like, yeah, this is such a sick project. You know, you guys turned this into like something that's really, really sick. You know, this is almost like 3 brown and 3 blue, 1 brown kind of like quality now, you know. That's awesome. Yeah. Any other comments?
How is this process like? Like, did you guys start using, like, have you start using GPT more when you were doing this research? How did you guys like work together? I'm really interested to kind of like to hear about that process. Like, do you guys, how do you think about LLMs now that you've spent all this time kind of looking into them?
I've got to say, like, before doing this project, I did do the summer camp, but that didn't really give me as deep of an understanding to LLMs as I do now. Like, seriously, after all that research, I really feel like I could actually teach someone who has no idea what this stuff is now.
You want a summer job? Like that's something we can do for you.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, we just like cut the video into tiny segments and show it, and we're like, yeah, that'd be a cool program.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Mhm.
I would also like to touch on that with just, kind of what he was saying. I understand like how AI works a lot better. I'm designing my own personal AI assistant as a personal project. And yeah, like a lot of this research really tied into that and helps me understand how like the inner workings of GPT and stuff works. So I learned a lot.
Yeah, and there's actually personally for me, when I actually learned about this, the transformer more in depth, I actually got, I actually got more questions than before. Uh, I don't know. I think I talked to Kevin once and asked him a question, and I was like, "Hey, I discussed about how during the tokenization process, there's like a potential bias in languages because of how the algorithm works. So I did that some time ago. So I thought it solved my problems, but I ended up getting more questions. So I don't know if that worked, but
I think I put more questions in your head based off my answer, so I apologize for that.
yeah. So I guess it worked in a sense. Yeah.